constitutional law is hard in some ways until you get the basic information to click, right? So understanding like the levels of scrutiny feels super abstract, right? But I want you to think about con law. I think even if someone, like I was a political science major and like I didn't necessarily think that helped me in con law, but think of con law in a very practical sense, right? You live in the United States, presumably. You know how society works, right? You have a general understanding of like what we can and can't do, right? When you could or couldn't talk about religion in schools, right? There's a lot of things like what is freedom of speech? Now, we all know what's going on in the current political space is probably not fully accurate, right? But think about in the prior times, right? Like how did a president, go to war? Now, obviously, I understand we're living in odd times, but think about it from like a logistical perspective, right? Well, they have to go to Congress, right? But a lot of that's the stuff that you're learning in con law. Does that make sense? And so think about when you get a hypothetical, think, okay, well, what normally happens, right? And then kind of process through that. And I think that once you think of con law in a very practical sense, I think it makes it a much more approachable subject.